And now a word from our Awakened Radio sponsors. AwakenedRadio.net is brought to you by AwakenedRadio.net host and those who support our station by shopping at our Awakened store and by making loving contributions and donations to our station each month. We are also supported by TheBarefootGuru.com. Thank you so much for your love and support of the Awakened Radio Network at AwakenedRadio.net. Did you know Awakened Radio has a store slap full of gemstone jewelry, stones, crystals, Donna Devane's autographed books, healing sessions, all sorts of interesting and exciting things. And because Awakened Radio is celebrating our first birthday throughout the month of November, when you visit AwakenedRadio.net and click Awaken Store, look there for a special coupon code that will save you money when you use it at your checkout. It's our way of saying super duper thank you and celebrate the Awakened Radio first birthday with us. Hey, do me a favor. Invite all your friends to our birthday party. The whole month of November, we're going to be celebrating not only with sales in the stores, but with giveaways and contests and all sorts of fun stuff. Join us, AwakenedRadio.net. We're going to have fun on this playground. And now, back to the show.
Hello, I'm Rob Ragozzine. Welcome to your Unfolding Senses. As always, if you have a question or would like to talk with us, you can join us in the chat room at awakenedradio.net or on the phone at 334-649-7204 or via Skype at Awakened Radio. So today we're going to talk a lot about slowing down, because that's one of the most important things you can do to really connect with your intuition. And it's very simple. Well, the concept is simple, but we're really trying to connect with ourselves and connect with our bodies. Simply being curious about what happens when perhaps we just sit silently on a regular basis. Maybe we begin to notice the messages that are coming to us, whether we're sitting outside and listening to nature, or we're sitting in our office listening to conversations and noticing the patterns and noticing when joy comes through and when fear comes through or passion comes through. It's just sit silently and use this as a time to really listen to your body. What kind of benefits do you think there are? One might be that you can connect with creative ideas and possibilities. But first, it's about taking the time to really listen. And then, as you're listening, you might get new ideas and thoughts popping up about what you can do next. Dr. Larry Dossey has a good quote on this, and he says, "We know too much and feel too little. At least we feel too little of those creative emotions from which a good life springs." So he's really talking about really connecting with feeling those creative juices flowing through us, however they might come. We talked about, well, I didn't talk about, but Stephanie talked about art in the last show, and you can create your own art or your own music as long as you're doing something that you feel good doing. You can really connect with that creative potential within you. So, before we go on in the show, remember the number is 334-649-7204, or Awakened Radio in Skype. Now, before we go too deep, we'll cover some Q&A issues here. Got a question. How do I get started? I'm not sure I believe in intuition. Well, that's a good question. It's not really easy to answer. And I'm really trying to look at it from a practical sense rather than trying to give you some answer that you can't really grasp your fingers around and try to work with. So look at what your existing attitudes and belief about intuition right now. How do you feel about it? Just pay attention to those and don't force anything. Don't force yourself to make any changes, but really just acknowledge any pull you might feel towards wanting to open more deeply to your intuition, because that's the real goal here, is just to find ways to open more deeply to your intuition. Or maybe you feel like dismissing it entirely. See what's up for you at any given time and ask why. And then to look to see if you're willing to see if it's possible that you might treat it as another way of knowing. Just look at it from that vantage point. Since you're listening, I'm guessing that you are, so that might be a good first step. Just look at it as another way of knowing something. Beyond that, you might try the partition example I gave last week, and that's where you sit down with a friend and put up a partition between you, a little cardboard cutout or something, and have each person take turns drawing shapes or writing numbers, and then the one behind the partition guesses what the other person has drawn. And then another exercise that I gave was the movie game, where you set an intention to ask a question and have it be answered. So you can ask, what's my best option here? What's my best course of action, for instance? And then go to the movies, but you're not going to a particular movie. You're just going perhaps in the afternoon, and the next movie that comes on after you show up is the movie you're going to. And your answer will be in there. So next question is about the inner voice, having a critical voice. My inner voice is drowning out my intuition. And, well, the first step for many people is simply letting go of the inner voice that says you can't. So you might want to say, why not? Who's talking? Is all that stuff that you're saying really true? So kind of working with that and giving yourself a little edge in breathing room. So listening to that voice and then saying, wait a minute, I'm not sure that's true. How can that be true? Just being curious about it and really paying attention to it. Just identify where the I can't fear is most intense in your body. And then give imagine yourself sending, positive thoughts and comfort to that part of your body. If it's your heart, just bring your hands to your heart and saying, this too will pass. And again, if you have questions about any of this, the phone number is 334-649-7204, or you can call in via Skype at Awakened Radio, or join us in chat at awakenedradio.net. So the big step here to overcome the critical voices really is identifying where that's coming up, why it's coming up, and you might try working with compassion in Tonglen, like I talked about last time, and just sending compassion to yourself. And another way to do this is through voice dialogue. And voice dialogue really is a technique developed by Hale and Sidgerstone, and it really allows us to experience the many different aspects or selves that are within us. It's kind of a really good psychological tool. Really recommend you read one of their books, perhaps, Embracing Ourselves, or another book is Embracing Your Inner Critic. But the best way to really experience their work is to get yourself to a workshop in your area. When one comes up, they happen all over the place. And some are simply a weekend long, some are a few hours long, but they really get you in tune with the different voices within you. And it lets you hear out loud what the different parts of you have to say. For instance, you might have a inner rebel within you, and as you sit down and give voice to this, you might hear that it wants to go out and have a good time on Saturday night, and you're spending Saturday night watching old movies. Well, the next step is to say, okay, I think it's time to go, out for a little fun on Saturday night. It doesn't have to be every Saturday, and it doesn't have to be for long, but it's giving space to that part of yourself that really wants to go out and have a good time. Well, Donna says her inner rebel talks about politics on the radio. Well, if that's what you're called to do, and that allows that voice to be expressed, that's good. Beyond that, you might notice when the critical voice is talking and then say, yes, but that hasn't happened. And just say that. So, for instance, it might be saying, well, what about next week? Well, next week hasn't come yet. We're here now. So slowing down again, going back to slowing down, being patient with ourselves, trying to slow down the mind chatter, and really just get in the moment. So go play in the dirt, or go take a nap, whatever it is, just making time for ourselves. Next thing might be to celebrate your actual successes and accomplishments. Don't just sweep them under the rug. So when you do have some sort of accomplishment, acknowledge it. Be proud of yourself. And connect with the joy that you're feeling about having accomplished this, whatever it is, no matter how big or small. And that really helps you to connect to your passion. Feel it, enjoy it. That's your reason for doing what you do. So connect with that passion. Understand that the critic has a role, and it's usually to keep us safe or out of harm's way. It might have been overgrown at this time, but it at one time it served a purpose, and you might, by doing the voice dialogue work or other work similar to that, you might notice and come to terms with what role it was and find a space for it in your life. Next question was, you briefly talked about chakras last week, and of course I've heard people talk about them, but it seems so esoteric. How can I understand it in a practical sense? Elizabeth Bink says, there's a deep wisdom within our very flesh, if we can only come to our senses and feel it. So again, really connecting with your body, really spending time just sitting alone with yourself on a regular basis, whether it's 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a week, whatever you can manage at first, just do that. And I really recommend that you integrate and study tools and techniques that can help you get more in touch with your body. So that might be that you learn about meditation, but also learning about therapeutic touch or Reiki can be very helpful here. I've worked with Reiki for a long time, also studied all kinds of different energy work, and you really begin to connect more deeply with your own intuition as you're working and learning to make space for your body when you're interacting with others and helping them to come to terms with the issues they're facing as you're giving them Reiki or therapeutic touch or whatever energy practice you're working with, because now you have to have compassion for both yourself and the other person and make sure you're not stepping over them or allowing yourself to get hurt at the same time. Also, other techniques that might fit in here are Tai Chi, yoga, dance, Zumba, any one of those things where you're really getting out and moving your body and experiencing it and recognizing that you really have more power than you think you do. But for now, try to be open that there's what they call certain centers in the body that hold energy. Taekwondo is another way. In karate and other defensive systems, we know that we can disable someone by connecting with certain points. And really, the goal here, like with Reiki and therapeutic touch or the other healing systems, is we're looking to enable and empower ourselves rather than disable. So we'll try an exercise now which will allow us to connect to our hearts. And you might, before we begin, you might ask, what have I been truly yearning for? Or what do I feel inspired by doing? Or how can I better connect with my passion? So you might keep those in mind and have set an intention to have an answer come to you as we do this. So sit or lie down and relax into a comfortable position. Now feel your body slowing down and any tension you might have had being released. When you're ready, take your hand, preferably your dominant hand. If you're right-handed, your right hand. If you're left-handed, your left hand. And move it to a spot just above your heart and chest area. Notice if you feel any sensation at all. Perhaps you'll feel some light tingling or prickling or heat, or you'll get imagery of some kind. Or maybe you'll hear words or just notice something in some other way. Just notice if you have any sensation at all. If you don't feel anything, keep moving your hand out to about 2 feet and then slowly pull it back to your heart and pay attention to where you want to stop. What do you notice there? And if you don't notice anything, this is still okay. Just keep pulling your hand back until it rests on your chest or you feel a sensation of some kind. Now at first, you might not notice anything. Be careful not to dismiss anything because that's important. Over time, as you do this more and more, you'll begin to recognize sensations or see imagery or feel something or smell something or hear something. This is your intuition. We're connecting with our heart chakra. So it's kind of a multi-layered exercise, but it's giving you an opportunity to connect with your heart and see if there's any sensations there. So Donna says it's tickly for her, and she sees and feels energy waves, soft waves. Mine are kind of spiky, but soft at the same time. Now, when you do get to the point of recognizing something, you'll want to record the feelings or remember the feelings and sensations that are coming up. It might be that you don't recognize its importance for you now, but over time or later you might. Now, it might be something from the past or an image of someone you miss will appear in your mind. Just be open to whatever's coming up. Don't feel like you have to, though, see anything or feel anything. We're simply hoping to catch a glimpse of something that may be connected to our heart. And keep in mind the questions that I mentioned, like what have I truly been yearning for? What would I feel inspired by doing? Whatever's appropriate for you. How can I better connect with my passion? Sleevis says, I feel tingling on the right side of my head. Well, that's an important thing to remember and record because we're working with our heart right now. And that might be related to something that's on your mind, for instance. Because we're trying to work with only one chakra at this time, but now you have multiple areas that are sensing and feeling. So just keep those questions in mind and spend as much time as you want feeling and sensing here. And it might be 5 minutes, it might be 10 minutes. But don't stress and don't force yourself to feel something that you don't feel. Just spend as little time or as much time as you want. And you can always come back to this at a later time. And for now, we'll be leaving this and we'll be moving into other exercises later. But remember any sensations that you felt and use those to really boost your belief, as we covered the question, how do I believe in my intuition? Well, this is one way, because here we are sensing things that we can't see. But for now, we'll move on. Beyond this exercise, again, you could learn Reiki or therapeutic touch or Tai Chi or yoga. Any kind of energetic-related healing can really help connect with your intuition and body sense. Especially for things like yoga, don't worry if you're not as flexible as the people you see on the movies or television. That's why there's foam blocks, I like to say. Work up to those crazy moves. For some, it might take some time. Just be patient. Slow down. We're not in a rush. Do what your body allows. It might have been asking for this kind of exercise or movement for a long time, and you've been pushing it aside. So ask when it's appropriate to try the more complex moves and listen. Wait for the answer. Also, paying attention to the food that's coming in. In computers, there's the term garbage in, garbage out. So really paying attention to what's going in, because that's affecting what we're feeling and sensing too. Really, whatever you can do to care for your body and rejuvenate it, really have compassion for it. It's really important here to connect with our intuition. Dr. Larry says, the power of love to change bodies is legendary, built into folklore, common sense, and everyday experience. Love moves the flesh. It pushes matter around throughout history. Tending loving care has uniformly been recognized as a valuable element in healing. And also, I'm noting Carillion photography so that you can see your aura. And you might notice colors while you were doing the heart exercise before, so you might want to go out, get the photograph, and see if that matches your intuition, and that's another way to confirm your intuition. Now, in general, there might be some colors that indicate good health and some that indicate an unbalanced side. But you'll have to learn that for yourself, because what's true for one person and what they see is different for other people. So bright colors, for instance, might mean really good health, but they might also indicate something else to some other person. So it's really important to connect with what you see and what it means for you and develop a connection to that. And that's why I say dismiss the books, learn the intuition on your own. Now, let's look at the chakras. The seventh chakra, which is located above your head, it links us with what you might call the universal collective. Now, there can be more chakras, and depending on who you read, there's hundreds or there's thousands or whatever number it is, but we'll talk about the 7 basic ones that are immediately connected to our bodies, and different books talk about different hand chakras and things, but again, you'll have to explore them for your own to really connect with them and understand how they work in your body and what the colors mean for you and what you see and how you can use them to be grounded and centered. Now, the sixth chakra, which is right on your middle of your forehead, is supposed to be about seeing and psychic power. And the fifth, at the throat, is supposed to be about expressing yourself, whether creatively or truthfully, or just to voice your power. The fourth, the heart that we worked with before, and love is a real key component there. The third, which is the solar plexus, which we talked about last week, which is really our sense of identity, sense of self. The second, located at the genitals, which really monitors our sensuality, our sexuality, our power to bring things into reality, really. The first, the base of the spine, is about really safety, security, our basic needs. Now, how we relate to these is really how we relate to life. And you can bring balance to them in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of great meditations, but some simple things you might try for, in general, you have to really find what works for you. For the seventh, might be meditation or prayer or chanting. These are just ideas, and they're kind of related to the purpose of the chakra. The sixth, you might try dream work or remote viewing, intuitive guessing games, being observant. The fifth, since it's related to speech, you might try singing or chanting again, mantras. You might try to join a group like Toastmasters to get up and give speeches, especially if you're afraid of doing that. That might be a really good way to bring balance to that chakra. The fourth, placing your hands on your heart, pets, loving, spending time with loved ones. In 2013, host a radio show, Donna says, and that's what I'm doing. And you can too. Going back to 2013 is really all about home life and having compassion for others and caring for family and friends and home life. So a good way to bring balance to your fourth chakra during all of next year universally is to really spend time with people you care about. And the third chakra, Tonglen, breath work, hula hoop, anything that gets the hips moving, I guess, compassion, and volunteering. The second chakra, get up and dance, do one of those Wii games, get up and dance, I think one's called, actually. Go out dancing, watch Elvis. Donna says she loves dancing, so you can mimic Elvis. Go get a video of Elvis and move those hips just like Elvis, or belly dancing. And the first chakra, rebounding, one of those little mini trampolines, jumping rope, or trampoline. And I say in order to try these things really requires that we make space for ourselves. So again, slowing down, looking inside, being curious, asking why. Does this work for me? That's the biggest question here, I think. Does this work for me? Because one person might say this chakra is blue, another person says it's orange, whatever. Find out for yourself. And is this true? I think we're coming up soon to a break, so I'll remind everyone of joining us via Skype on Awakened Radio, or call us on the phone at 334-649-7204, or at awakenradio.net in the chat room.
Don't be a turkey. Keep listening to Awaken Radio.
And now a word from our Awakened Radio sponsors. Awakened Radio, awakenradio.net. We're all about the new FM frequency. Are you maybe having a hard time getting word out, sharing your message about your book, your product, your coaching, your healing services? Well, check out the Awakened store at awakenedradio.net. Donna Devane has a brand new course set up just for you. We'll guide you through the different types of broadcasting, how to really communicate with your listening audience in a way that they are ready for your message. No more hard sales pitches. No more sounding or feeling like a used car salesman. Come on over to awakenedradio.net today. Check out our Awakened store. The tab is right up under our banner, and go to Divine Connections. I'll be more than happy to help you get your message out to our growing global audience. Awakened Radio is brought to you by our listeners. Those of you who enjoy our wide range of topic and our wide range of listenership. We really do cover the globe with thought and geographic location. Thank you so much for taking part, for coming over and joining us in our chat room, and for clicking that donate button while you're there. We appreciate your contributions. They are what has helped us to grow and will help us to grow even more. While you're at our website, please visit our Awakened store. Take part in our forum conversations. Check out all of the pages at awakenedradio.net. Get to know us. You'll like us. We're really a friendly bunch. Thank you for helping make Awakened Radio possible. And now, back to the show.
Okay, we're back. I'm Rob Ragozzine. This is Your Unfolding Senses. You can join us in the chat room at awakeneradio.net or via Skype at Awakened Radio or dialing 334-649-7204. Now, if it helps, you can think of the chakras as intake or output centers, actually both. If they're getting blocked or bogged down, then they're not working as they should. And think of it just like any other vitamin deficiency, for instance. So if we're low on vitamin E, for instance, we have problems related to that, or whatever vitamin it is, doesn't matter. If we don't have that enough of that, then we get problems in our nervous system or whatever. Without that component, the machine doesn't work. So the same goes for the chakras. Without balance, everything's not working properly. Now, I have another exercise where we can connect with all of the chakras. So lie back or sit quietly in a comfortable position in an area where you're not going to be disturbed. So if you're listening in a group, you can all lie on the floor and experience it together and talk about it as you're going through it or not. But just make sure you're comfortable and let whatever images or colors come to you as we work through all the chakras. Just notice what's coming to you. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths to relax. Let go of the need to hold yourself up if you're lying on the floor. Sink into your chair or the floor. Allow your muscles to release tension. Now focus on the top of your head. Set an intention to feel whatever it is that is there. If it helps, you can visualize the energy there as being a violet color, but don't force yourself to really see it as any color. Allow whatever color is appropriate or is right for you to come. And just notice if you notice anything at all. Do you feel anything in particular? And do you see anything clear, bright, strong, or is it slow and trickly? Just notice if it feels like it's spinning really fast or sitting there stagnant, or you don't feel anything at all. Just notice what you notice and be patient. And it might take a few minutes to recognize that, oh yeah, I feel something up there. Or, no, I don't feel anything. But that's okay. When you do this again, take as long as you need. But for now, we'll move down to the next chakra, which is the brow chakra. And again, see if you can sense anything in the middle of your forehead. See if you get any imagery, any sensations, any feelings. I'm getting an image of an eye, so I guess it's talking about intuition and being open to that. Are you getting any imagery, any feelings? If it helps, you can bring your hand, your dominant hand, to that area and see if you sense anything. Perhaps touch it lightly and then bring it off the top of your forehead and see, just like we did with the heart before, see if you can sense any energy, prickling, heat, cold, any waves of energy, any colors that you notice there. See what colors are there for you. And then releasing that, and we'll move down to the throat and being careful to gently touch our throats, because this is a powerful center. We're not choking ourselves, we're just lightly touching this area, seeing if we notice anything. Is it strong? Do we have any memories coming up? Nothing's coming up for me, but maybe something's coming up for you. Again, note it in your mind, in your memory. If it's okay, it's okay to get up, or to, next time you do this, to have a pad and pen and just jot down things as they're coming, because this can be a lot of information. But for now, just set the intention that you'll remember it. And a lot of associations to things unsaid or things you'd rather not have spoken might come up, but allow what comes to come. Just feel it, and then we'll be getting ready to release this and move from down to our heart. And again, if you were here for the earlier exercise, remembering this and reconnecting with that energy, feeling what sensations are here, noticing the color. Commonly, it's associated with green, but whatever's appropriate to you is okay. And when we're ready, gently releasing the heart, moving to the solar plexus, just above the belly button, and feeling here, and noticing any disturbances or any waves of energy or anything that we might feel here. And when we're ready, moving just below the belly button and just above the groin, and second chakra, feeling what's here, noticing any sensations and being okay with them, letting them come, letting them go, and releasing them. And then finally moving getting to the base of the spine, you might put your hand on the back, on your back, on the base of the spine, if that feels more appropriate to you. And feeling what's there, feeling the color, feeling the sensations, and just noticing and remembering what you noticed in the other chakras and noticing what's happening here. This is really our basic needs. Take your time to feel whatever comes up and feel that this is part of you. And finally, releasing that and taking a few breaths and releasing the exercise. Now, you might have noticed colors or sensations. Write those down and go back, and eventually you might do this again in a little while. Whatever is appropriate for you. You might do this a couple times a month just to see what's there. Eventually, you might be setting an intention to clear those areas, but we really want, before we start doing things like that, we really want to be connected with our bodies and understand that they have a process. And we're not just bringing balance to one, but we want to bring balance to all of them, if that makes sense. Now, you can work with gemstones and crystals and things of that nature. And again, just know that it's about balance to all of them, not just one of them. That's what's important here. So pay attention to the location, the power, the nuances of each one, and spend regular time with this. Just be patient. At first, you might not feel anything, but over time, you can notice the subtle shifts and pings and whatever you feel. If it helps, set an intention to be able to manipulate your energy, even if you cannot feel it happening externally. It's happening. And then, what I said, again, before you approach it, you probably should be looking at things like the food that you're eating and cleaning up things, your lifestyle, just because as we're bringing balance to this, to our chakras, we're supposed to be bringing balance to our life. So it helps to do it externally, out in the world, as well as internally. So bringing in the nutrition, whether it's actual food or ideas or concepts or whatever it is, feelings and emotions, bringing that in to help balance ourselves, but also bringing that out into the world to balance everything all around us. Now, meditation, again, is really a must when you're trying to bring balance, greater balance to your life and to enhance your chakras. And Larry Dossey says, meditation is a powerful way of entering into healing states. Herbert Vincent, for 20 years at Harvard, has shown that meditative states and almost any kind of contemplative state can be good for the body. When people meditate, the blood pressure comes down, the heart rate falls, immune changes take place in the body, and so on. So meditation is certainly a way of bringing about healing influences in our body. So, again, we're talking about intuition and the chakras tonight, and you can join us in the chat room at awakenedradio.net or through Skype at Awakened Radio or calling 334-649-7204 if you have questions or have your own observations about working with the chakras yourself. Now, a lot of the reasons that we're working with them is to really connect with ourselves on a deeper level. And in his book, Healing States, Dr. Dossi says physical bodies are obstreperous. They're stubborn entities that are given to some very bad habits, such as their susceptibility to genetic diseases, proneness to infection, and so on. Bodies have minds of their own, which do not always accurately represent our psychological and spiritual understanding. Our bodies can act up, break down, and get sick without ever consulting us. Failure to recognize the relative intractability of the flesh is one of the excesses of today's consciousness and health movement, and is the potential cause of immense guilt when things go wrong. So not only is he talking about slowing down, but he's talking about not feeling guilty when something's not as the way you perceive it to be. It's about being okay with, hey, my chakras feel out of balance, and not wanting to go from A all the way to Z, but really marveling in the discovery of seeing that you can sense your chakras and you can get intuitive hits by working with them, and really opening to that and just having fun and being on a journey. I was watching the show Once Upon a Time this week, and they say they had some great quotes. One of them was, "Once you control the journey, fear will stop." Well, I don't know about that, but it's really about, again, tapping into the mystery and really going for the ride, rolling with it. So by intuitively connecting with them and reading into them, it can be another great way really to connect with your inner and outer needs that can be a real reflection of you. So the first chakra really is about dealing with our survival needs, shelter, protection, and our achievements in the world. So paying attention to it really helps you to see how you're doing, especially in acknowledging, as I was talking about before, your successes. How are you connecting to your passion? It's right there. And you'll see it when you feel into it, and you'll see it in dreams, and you'll see it in synchronous events that happen in the outer world, especially when you're really connected to it and you're really doing activities to help bring greater balance there. Now, the big question is, what does life want for us? And that's why we're really connecting to our intuition here, and working with the chakras, because through the third eye, we'll be getting intuitive hits. Through our heart, we'll be getting more connected to what we're truly yearning for. Now, of course, you can't see them unless you're really intuitive. So, and most of the time, in the beginning, we might not even be able to feel them, but we're not crazy. It's really about letting go and being willing to explore and experiment. Again, being willing to enter the mystery, being curious and being open to asking questions, being patient, taking your time, going slow. And in the book Healing Words, Dr. Dossi says, mystery irritates, it demands solutions. Perhaps this is because we are so intolerant of ambiguity and generally preferring things in black or white without shades of gray. When faced with mystery, we often engage in desperate attempts to solve it. The desperation is apparent, as we've already seen, in the effort to explain away the occurrence of severe illness or other problems in spiritually enlightened individuals. Anything to preserve our preferred theory that good people don't get sick. So he's really saying, be open to, again, being open, being patient, and recognizing that sometimes we don't get our answers right away. And although we don't have time necessarily this week, he goes into the Grail legend that Joseph Campbell talked about a lot, and King Arthur. And he really uses a way to explore more deeply some of the issues around entering the mystery. But I don't think we have time to talk about that tonight. But really, it's about being able to break free of the well-worked paths that other people are taking about and going to a place where maybe we're breaking rules or exploring new territory on our own. And being okay with the ambiguity, being okay with uncertainty. That's why we're connecting to our intuition, where we have uncertain moments, and our intuition can help us to connect with why we're feeling that way. Maybe not necessarily to clean up that uncertainty right away, but over time. And to break away from the need to know the bottom line. What's the quick answer? Well, we might not know. And we might not have a formula for solving all our problems, and we aren't patient, but over time we can be. There's no need to rush and solve everything today. It's not going to be. And one of the ways that he talks about really connecting with all of this on a personal level is to begin to work with dreams. And Carl Jung says the dream is a little hidden door in the innermost and most secret recesses of the soul. And what I say is, again, throw away the dream dictionary, just put it away for now, and spend some time doing artwork around how a dream might have made you felt, or writing and recording the dream and it's what it brought up for you. Just remember that you had a particular dream for a reason, and you might want to spend this next week writing and recording a dream that you've had recently, or set an intention to have one, and we can talk about it next week. But here's the thing to remember between now and then is that it could have been about anything, but instead it was about your boss eating all of your chocolate chip cookies, for instance. No, it wasn't about anything, it was about that. So don't dismiss what the dream is about and say, oh, that's silly. No, there's a reason for it. You just have to connect with it. And perhaps a good exercise might be to see which of the chakras your dream resonates with the most in this next week. So you might feel into all of them and ask yourself, does this dream resonate with this chakra? And then recognize that if it does, for instance, if it resonates with your heart chakra the most, then it might have to do with love and relationships, for instance. And if it relates to the first chakra, then it might be about your basic survival needs or support, something of that. Again, throw away the dream dictionary or put it away for now. And if you have questions, you can call us now with Skype by calling Awakened Radio, or 334-649-7204, or join us in the chat room for these last few minutes at awakenradio.net, or you can contact me at blog.simplynumbers.com, and I have my contact information on that page, and you can ask me questions about anything I talked about tonight or the dreams issue. But for now, just remember, like I was saying, that you've had a particular dream for a reason, and spend some time reflecting on what it might mean for you and why you had that dream. Now, some dreams keep coming back, like being in school naked and not having studied for the test, for instance. But since they do have something in common, we might easily miss when they come up. Like, you might have the being in school naked dream when you're preparing to give a presentation at work, or you have to make a major decision, and that dream comes up. It's offering some sort of guidance, but you're not paying attention. And one of the most important aspects, remember, is time. So when is it taking place? How old do you feel? You might have a dream where you're back in your childhood home and you're your age now, or you're a young child. Pay attention to all of that. It's important, and it'll add relevance and layers of information as you begin to process it. So we only have 5 minutes or so left, I guess. So remember to join us next time in the chat room at awakenradio.net or via Skype at Awakened Radio or calling 334-649-7204, or you can contact me anytime on Twitter. I'm at Numbers by Rob, and I'm at Awakened Rob for this show, and you can contact me at Facebook at Numbers by Rob or Awakened Rob. And I have various posts on there about exercises we work through on the show. So anything that we've done is up there, and I have some neat games to play. I have some pictures, and you can guess what the general gist is of the picture and see how good you are at guessing what's actually happening. And again, contact me at Numbers by Rob on Twitter or Awaken Rob on Twitter if you have any questions about anything that we talked about tonight or in the past shows. And you might want to set an intention for next week to bring a dream to the chat room and we can talk about it, especially if you feel really moved by the dream but don't understand what it's trying to tell you. As we enter 2013, many of us will be having a lot of dreams that really relate to our families and ourselves and the relationships in our lives. And you'll want to look at dreams from this vantage point. And that's what I really recommend for working with your dreams, to begin there and to look at how does this relate to my relationships. And again, don't be afraid to work with the exercises we talked about tonight. And I think that's almost about it for the show. We do have 3 minutes, so if someone has a quick question, we can take it, but bear in mind that it's only 3 minutes. I'll leave, I guess, with some questions you might ask about your dreams. Again, how old am I? Am I me? When is the dream taking place? Is it now, past, or future? What time of day is it? What time of year is it? How do I feel about the events in the dream? And how do I feel about the time the dream represents? Now, and I don't mean to inundate you, but all of those can be very helpful. And if you feel like drawing the dream, that might help you to process it more deeply. And remember, we're moving into a year that's all about relationships and home life. So look to guidance from the dreams, how they're directing you to make your home more welcoming and heal up your relationships. And again, by working with your chakras, you might make it possible to bring and heal the relationships in your life. So look how everything's connected and be curious and be open to the mystery that life is bringing us. And I'll end with a quote from Rilke. He says, "Be patient towards all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves like locked rooms and like books that are written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given you because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will find them gradually without noticing it and live along some distant day into the answer."
Oh, well, this is cool. Wish we could get him to do a little promo. And speaking of you, Bryce, And also Don Mose to say, this is Don Mose from Happy Days, and you are listening to Awakened Radio.
Sure. Hi, this is Don Mose from Happy Days, and you're listening to Awakened Radio.
Oh, that is totally cool. Thank you, Vo Bear. That's just for you. And Bryce, we've got to get you to say this is Bryce Zabel, author of AD After Disclosure, and you're listening to Awakened Radio.
This is Bryce Zabel, author of. Excuse me, I'm going to try that over. I didn't even like that. I'm such a producer. I can't even say it. Like my friend Don is an actor. He can say these things right off. I'm just the man behind the scenes. So I'll try it one more time. This is Bryce Zabel, the co-author of AD After Disclosure, and you're listening to Awakened Radio.
Thank you very much. Good idea, Vo Bear. Thank you. We got people in the chat room going, this is the guy from Happy Days. This is the guy. People know you. So this is totally cool. I don't normally squeal over stars and such like that, but this is really a very, very, very nice extra, Don. Thank you very much. And thank you too, Bryce. We're not through yet. We got about 19 minutes, but I just want to let both of you guys know I really do appreciate this. You guys are exemplifying what we started Awakened Radio for, and that is for all of us to come together and say, okay, this is what I know. If you can add more to it, I'm willing to listen. And perhaps all of us joining our information together, we can come up with some of the answers to the questions of what if, just what if. And I think writing and movie work, are some of the greatest examples of how we as a society